So here's how I turned this nasty LTD TE202 into what you see here. This is technically part 2. If you want to see the first part, I'll leave a link in the description below. In this video, we're going to see how I finish this guitar. Also, don't forget, I'm giving away this brand new Ibanez RG series as soon as I hit 20k subscribers. The competition for this guitar will go live the video after I hit 20k. If you want a chance to win this and you're not already subscribed, hit the button now. A lot of the early clips from this video were 9-10 months ago, if you can believe it. So it was before I even had lighting in this workshop. I apologise for the quality of it. It does get better later in the video. I do not like this guitar. This is a scrap piece of Redwood. It's an offcut from a slab. I got it for free from my brother. In that last video, I thought I could make a complete body out of it for the LTD neck. I was wrong and I decided to go in a completely different direction. And that's what you see in this video here. So this white chalk line here is pretty much the usable part of the slab. This big section here, I'll show you the other side, but it's pretty much unusable for what I want. Obviously we've got this bark incursion here, which it could be problematic, but I've drawn on this sort of half telly body here, and I'm thinking that this is thick enough that I could maybe get 4 cuts out of this section here. And what I mean by that is, if I take this plank, I run it through my table saw this way, I can maybe get 4 10mm boards, basically do book match tellies. I'm hoping this bark incursion here will be taken care of in the neck pocket. We can maybe angle the body slightly. I'll show you that later if this works. But anyway, what I'm thinking is Redwood top and bottom. We'll figure something else out for the middle, and we do a Thinline Telecaster body with this here. That could be pretty cool. Here's the other side. As you can see, it's not too usable. I've never done anything like this before, so I'm going to be super cautious and do it in a few passes. Basically what I'm doing is running this, I've set this to 10mm. I'm going to run it here like this, and then I'm going to lift the blade, and then I'll flip it and I'll do the other side. And hopefully we can get 4 10mm pieces out of this. We'll see what happens, and hopefully I don't lose a finger. Future me here. Please don't use the table saw like you see me doing in this video. I'm just showing it for the sake of the video. I won't do that again, and I don't recommend that you try that. I've since bought myself a big bandsaw, which is perfect for splitting boards like this to make tops, and that's what I'll be doing in the future. In fact, you'll see it a little bit later on in the video when I'm making the cavity cover, and I also made a little pickguard as well. Well, that's them planed. Now I just need to joint the centers, get that nice and straight, glue it, and then we're ready to move on from here. This is a book match and this is a book match, so as you can see they kind of mirror each other. Now there is slight variance in that just because of the way the grain grows, but I need to figure out then later what orientation I want the body to be in. I quite like what I've drawn here, as you can see, because I like this kind of long curly grain, and on this one I actually like these two knots, and then this bit here kind of looks like stars, which is, you know, I don't know, I kind of like it. Obviously they have some defects which I will fill in with resin. This one here, now on this piece, this doesn't go through too badly to the other side. You know, it looks much worse here. Now that was probably where a route would be anyway, or a bridge or something covering it up, so it might not be too bad. But what I will do is I'll pick, after they're glued in, I'll pick all the crap out from inside, scrape that all away, see how bad it is, and again we'll fill it with resin, and we might use this side rather than this side, but we'll look at that later. For now this is just kind of to visualize it. But this might end up being my top actually rather than this. Don't know, we'll see. Obviously if I could incorporate these into the body somehow I would, but I think they're just too big and ugly and it's just not going to work. This might be pretty stupid, but let's give it a go and see what happens anyway. This is a piece of wood, it's probably pine, 8.5 inch by 1 3/4 inch, and it was lying underneath my old shed for nearly 20 years. I found it when I took the shed apart to build this one. It came in, I think, an 8-foot length, or 2.4 meters. I've cut this little section off because I'm thinking this could be the sandwich on the inside of our Redwood telly. Now, this probably is a stupid idea. I mean, there's a big crack here. It's really old timber. It's pine. Obviously, it's a softwood, but so is the Redwood. So it might be quite interesting. I actually had an idea to turn this into a bit of a barn caster. At least if I'm going to make it the sandwich on the inside of our Redwood telly, that'll give me an idea whether that barn caster idea is really worth exploring. We have our pine center sandwich thing out of clamps, glued up and looking good. So as you can see, I'm going to cut around this here. I'll route it to shape, and then I'll route out all these bits here, and it'll be completely hollow here, so the only bit we'll be left with is this kind of center block and the stripe around the outside, and then we'll have our sandwich with our Redwood top and bottom. The Redwood, I've got some holes to fill with resin. I'm going to do that just now. I'm just going to mix up a black resin and fill them with that there. I have just backed these with a bit of Gorilla tape and then some blue masking tape, as if that's going to do anything, but anyway, the Gorilla tape should hold it, and we'll get these filled, let them dry overnight, we'll come back to it tomorrow. That's the resin done, no leaks, so the Gorilla tape, blue masking tape combo obviously worked. Got these epoxy resin bits mostly sanded down. You can still see a little bit seeped into the grain in and around, but I'll sort that later. What I am going to do is probably cut close-ish to this line here that I've drawn. I think this is where I'm going to choose for both pieces. I haven't decided what's going to be top or bottom yet. I don't know if this is the top. The resin will form part of the F-hole on this side, which I kind of like the idea of, so this might be the top. I'm not sure. As you can see, I didn't get the join the best here, which is why I'm starting a lot higher. It's pretty decent here. There's a little bit here where it's cracked and I've had to fill it. So it's a decent join from this section that I've drawn in. Not so much here. I mean, I did pretty crap here, but we can make use of it. And again, same here, you can see the join, but obviously I'm going right to the bottom of this board because I want to leave as much of this out as possible. Just to finish up, we have the pine center of our sandwich. Got a bit of a blowout there, but other than that, it's pretty decent. I just need to write my chambers out now. So basically going to be a big chamber here, bit at the bottom, and this is going to be completely hollow because we're doing the double top. So I'm going to start by drilling through it, and then might take my jigsaw, try cut as much of it away as I can, and then we'll take the router and we'll run it round with our template. Once that's done, I can then glue these to this top and bottom, and that'll do us for today. So I cut out the tops just roughly. I broke my bandsaw blade, so I'm having to use the jigsaw, but it was very chippy, this redwood, so I'm a little bit concerned about doing the F-hole. I've never done this before. I recently picked up a scroll saw from one of the local auctions for pretty cheap. So we're about to try that for the first time, and I'm going to test it on a piece of the offcut redwood, and we're going to see if we can do it without chipping it out. And yeah, that'll be the judge of how this build goes, I suppose, whether it's going to have F-holes or not. We've had a little bit of a disaster. Let me show you. So I was gluing on a bit that blew out on me just here, and I had the clamps on it, and when I was doing those clamps, I've accidentally broke this entire piece off here. So yeah, I was wanting to get this routed out properly. Obviously it's very rough. This is just where you saw I took the jigsaw to it. Ignore how rough that is. But I was wanting to just get the router to it now, clean this all up, get it ready for glue up for at least the back side, because I'm still figuring out that F-hole. And yeah, I messed up and did this here. Thankfully it's quite a clean break, so I'm going to try to glue it back on, and we'll just see how this goes after the glue up. It might be that this just isn't strong enough, although with the top and bottom glued it should be fine. But if that doesn't work, I have a chunk of ash just here, a couple more chunks of ash here. You can see that's part of that slab. I also have loads of other things. I've got beech, I've got elm. I've got lots of other things we can choose from. It might be the case that we just scrap this and start all over again. At the end of the day, this was a piece of scrap that's been lying under my old shed for over 20 years, and it's pine, so it was a bit of a chance anyway, a bit of an experiment. So yeah, let me glue it on and we'll see what happens. Also, my F-hole needs some serious refinement. It's not the worst for a first attempt, but honestly it's pretty poor. Yeah, so this isn't going to work under clamping pressure. This has started to break here, so I mean I could glue it as well, but it's getting a bit ridiculous at this stage, so scrapping this. Probably burn it in my fire tonight actually. We'll come up with something else. This time I have done it this way round, so I've routed the middle bit out before I've cut the shape out, just so it's a bit stronger. This is a piece of elm from a slab I had. I did make a body out of that slab, so this is the leftover parts of that slab, and there's still plenty left. As you can see, it's one piece this time instead of two pieces. The only problem is this sort of more brown part of the wood, where it'll actually be at its thinnest here, is a little bit rotten. So what I'm going to do is saturate this completely with resin. I had the hat on, so my hair's all of it. Who cares? Yeah, so it's actually been a couple of weeks since I've been out here, and that is because I have been flat out working. I do have a regular 9 to 5, and it's been busier than usual, with multiple 12-13 hour shifts this week. So yeah, videos might be a bit slow at this minute, but hopefully I will have a couple out before Christmas. Let's get this saturated in epoxy and get the top and bottom glued on. It's been a few weeks since I resined this, cut out the insides, and then I planed it yesterday. Oop. Oops. So yeah, it's the next night, and we have glued the top on now, or the bottom piece on now. The top piece glued on well, and it was the same process to do this bottom bit. Again, it's dark out here, so sorry for the light, but yeah, the bottom bit's a bit more awkward because I have slightly cut these redwood tops to the, rough shape of the telly. You need to try to, match it up with the other piece so that when you cut it, it's all right. But anyway, if we focus on center lines, which we have done, it should all work out because there's enough of a, if the camera will focus, there's enough of an overhang along the whole edge that we should have plenty of room for error. But I think I've got them lined up pretty well anyway. and you'll see a lot of glue squeeze out that's dried along that bottom piece. I'm not too worried because most of this is getting cut off anyway, so the squeeze out didn't really matter. I have tidied it up a little bit, but as you can see, you know, along here it kind of dried out from yesterday. I'm not worried because it's, you know, that's all going to get routed off. So time to route this out. I've got this glued on and we're just going to route around and get this shaped out properly. Now, I've been thinking about this overnight because I glued it on last night, and I was considering maybe taking this off again and then soaking this redwood in resin to maybe avoid any chip outs. You can see here it chipped out quite badly on me with the bandsaw. If the next clip is me routing it, well then, you know, I've just said fuck it and got on with it. So this is where I made a big mistake. I decided to saturate the top and bottom with some clear resin in the hope that it would harden and allow me to route all the cavities without scoring the body too much, because redwood is extremely soft. I must have mixed the resin wrong or done something because it hardened really black and took all the colour away from the redwood. It looks good wet in the final clip here, but after this, with the mistake I made, I left the body sitting for around 4 or 5 months before I pick it up to finally do the routes. Yeah, obviously it doesn't have the bevel, but I'm gonna go with a no for this one. I don't like it. I don't like it. You know, I've just made the rear cavity plate, and this is the spalted elm that we've used on the center block. I really like this, and it looks really good on the back, in my opinion. So I thought I'd go ahead. I had this little pickguard that I tried on. Some of you might have seen it in the community posts. I thought I'd go ahead and try this, but no, I'm not liking it. Obviously, like I said, you know, it would have a bevel on it. I would finish that and put a bevel on it, which might give it a bit of a more cleaner, sleek look and not quite fat. But I don't like this one with this guitar, but I like it more than this. So I think we'll just go with the no pickguard look. Alright, I have sanded it back. We're back to Redwood with no resin, so I mean, putting the resin there was a mistake. I think this was a lot of effort to get it back to this, but we got there. So next I'm going to actually finish the top. It's covered in dust still. I'm gonna actually finish the top and then do the sides and back later. So I'll do the top first, and that's just with the hope that it'll give it some protection. It's pretty much similar kind of thinking as when I put the resin on. So we're going to use some True Oil, just an easy finish, and it's pretty good. I like it. You can get a good finish with it. So. It is almost finished. There are currently no electronics in it, apart from the pickup obviously. There's no output jack, there's no pots or anything. These are the ones that came out of the original LTD, so I'm going to put the tone and volume back in. However, I was trying to get it finished for today because I go to Malta tomorrow morning for a bit of a holiday. And I really wanted this video out before then, but it's going to have to wait until I get back next week. But it's looking pretty cool. It was tuned to drop C. Might have gone a wee bit out of tune, the strings stretching and whatnot, but versus say this Ibanez Tallman. Video coming soon on this one. It's not in June, but yeah, you get the idea. I've done a couple of polls on the community tab on YouTube as to whether to do a pickguard or not, so I'm still obviously undecided at the minute. There is no pickguard on it, but again, I can wait till we get back. Really excited to finish this one up. I absolutely love this now. It's not perfect, but I mean it's a relic neck anyway, so it doesn't need to be perfect. You know, I've got this like bark intrusion here at the top which I left in. There's some scrapes and scuffs. Obviously I took a chip out of the top part of the F-hole here with the router, and I've kind of just left that. You know, obviously we've got the 4 big knots here, and we've got the resin bits on the back. But I mean, overall it's looking pretty cool. I do have a set of black locking tuners I might throw on this because I've went with the black bridge plate, or neck plate, sorry, and then this is kind of black. It's like a dark grey. So I might go with the black tuners before I finish it up. The black strap buttons. We've got this brass string through ferrule holder thing, which I really like. I bought those on eBay from the USA. I'll link it below. And then obviously we made this cavity cover magnetic, and it's made from the same spalted elm as our centerpiece is. So yeah, I mean, it all ties together quite nicely. The joint I did wasn't perfect on this here. You know, you can see a bit of a gap here, which is, you know, I filled it in with some redwood dust, but it's not perfect. But you know, like I said, I'm really happy with it. We'll get some sort of a sound demo. It'll be a week for me, but you should see it in the next couple of minutes. Okay, so I'm thinking pickguard. I just like it more, but what I'm going to do is get rid of this 3-ply one, and we're going to use this pickguard material. This is single ply, and I'm going to make my own. Alright, it's all shaped out. I want to put a bevel on it, so I went ahead and made this MDF template. And I actually used the pickguard as a template, so I cut this out on the bandsaw and then used a trim router bit to create this MDF template. And the reason I've done that is so that I can then use the MDF template with this bevel router piece, and we're going to put just a very slight bevel on this pickguard. Hopefully that works, so we'll try that now. Here was the original, this one I bought. I think I got it on Amazon, can't remember, I'll leave a link below if I did. 3-ply white. If you don't know, all that means is it's made of 3 sheets of plastic. You can see black on the bottom, then white in the middle, and then black on top. That makes it 3-ply white. It just gives it that white stripe in between the black layers. It's actually 3-ply black, but obviously just looks like a single-ply black. And I've rubbed it down to give it a matte effect. So I'm not going to drill any holes in this one, and I'm just going to stick it on with double-sided sticky tape because I'm still not 100% on pickguard, no pickguard. So let's go pickguard but with double-sided sticky tape, and that way we can remove it anytime we want. Hopefully the little bit that I played hasn't been demonetized, but I mean, you can hear clean tones are good, you know, it's a Telecaster pickup, I guess. You get the idea. Something that resembles one by Metallica. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure you watch out for when we hit 20k. The video after that we'll be giving away that Ibanez. And speaking of Ibanez, I've just got my hands on this Ibanez Talman. I've just got this Ibanez Talman, and yeah, we're gonna do I'll do a quick video on this. Basically, it was an eBay find for parts are not working, so it doesn't have any electronics attached. It was weird the way the description was written, but we'll get into it in that video. The guitar itself plays really, really nice, just obviously doesn't work plugged in, but yeah, we'll